Obviously, it is the holiday season, and with that comes an extra scary, holly jolly set of scary stories. I pulled some that are really hitting on the whole Christmas spirit. I think some good words of advice around surviving the holiday season. I feel like this time of year, my head is spinning, and it's really easy to lose yourself in all of the pine and Christmas lights, you could say. Happy Sunday and welcome to the Scaries Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Rossi, and we are back on another Sunday to hear your scary stories and do our best to help you through them. The holiday season is in full swing, and since you all have clearly been extra naughty this year, I figured I'd give you something a little bit better than cool with an extra special holiday spectacular episode of the Scaries Podcast. Santa could never. Before we jump into it, I wanted to remind everyone of our ground rules. The first is all submissions are anonymous and are to stay anonymous. The second is that this is an inclusive space. We listen and we do not judge. And lastly, I am not a licensed therapist and neither is my dog Kirkland. This podcast is just for entertainment and educational purposes only and should not be used in lieu of actual medical advice. And with that, let's get into it. Last time I saw you was Halloween. It is now December, so we have gone through Thanksgiving and we are approaching the Christmas season. So a lot has happened. I've moved to New York in September, but that you all knew. Thanksgiving wasn't anything super crazy for me. I went back home to Boston and just, saw some family. I will say this was the first time since I can remember, or since my early adult ages, where I did not go out the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, which to me, it just felt like I needed to bring that up because I feel like I was for one moment just better than everyone. I just grew up. I was like, I don't need to go out and get absolutely wasted the night before Thanksgiving in my hometown bar with all of my high school friends and the people that I haven't seen or talked to in years. I've really just, I'm 29. I'm going to be 30 in a few weeks. You know what? Maybe we just have a relaxing night in. And I say that because I thought that's what was going to happen. And it did. But then I proceeded to go out every single night after Wednesday until 5 a.m. So I am not better. I have not grown. We're doing our best. I may have stayed on Wednesday and wasn't hungover for turkey, but I really, let's just say, got back on the wagon for the rest of the weekend. It was fun. It was nice to be back in Boston. Although I've been in New York now only about 3 or 4 months, I've been able to get back and forth to Boston a bunch because it is super easy to get to. So I think one of the reasons why I decided to move to New York was just its proximity to Boston, and I still have a lot of friends and family there. So it was nice. Otherwise, nothing super crazy, no crazy arguments with the drunk uncle at dinner, no major blowout fights. My cousin did get a golf simulator in her basement, so that was pretty fun. I realized I'm still bad at golf, which, I guess that happens when you never play golf. So yeah, it was great. Came back, and I really have just been back in the swing of things before the holidays. I feel like Thanksgiving is kind of the pregame to the holiday season. A lot of people basically start celebrating Christmas after Halloween. I am a big fan of pacing my holidays. So, after after Halloween, it becomes Thanksgiving. However, Thanksgiving, there's not much there, there's not much to work with. What are you going to do? Decorate. You can repurpose your pumpkins for a little bit if you didn't cut into them for Halloween. Those can last through November, but I feel like it's that first dose of coming back home, seeing your friends, having a big meal, and then it really kicks off the true holiday season. I did get a Christmas tree the week before Thanksgiving, but that was just because I got it on a pre-Black Friday deal, which nowadays, Black Friday is about 2 months long, which, back in my day, it used to actually be just that Friday, and you could wake up at Friday at 3 a.m. or whatever and go to Best Buy and try and get a TV. Nowadays, it literally starts basically on Halloween. So yeah, I got a good deal on a tree, so I got it early. I wanted to kind of get into things home because I will be going back home for Christmas, and I wanted to get to enjoy Christmas in my home too. So we did set up a little bit earlier, but otherwise I love to pace the holidays. We are now in the swing of things. I would say this time of year is extremely chaotic. You have the end of like the stuff you put off during Thanksgiving kind of happening now. You got the end of the year. So if you work in a corporate job, that's the end of a quarter, which means you're rushing to get through all of your budgets. When I worked in marketing, we had certain budgets that closed at, we couldn't spend the money past December. So then we were frantically working to spend the money. And it's just like a really chaotic time of year, but that's because everything basically goes radio silent in a few weeks. So that's basically what I've been up to. I think even on the creator side, we see it's very similar to the corporate world in the sense of, I have a lot of holiday ads, Black Friday deals, shopping deals, gift guide, other partnerships all going on, in addition to having like a bunch of events around the holidays. I've been going to a ton of events here in New York. I think one of the reasons why I moved here was just how many more events and creators and people there are that do what I do, and so much more of this industry is here in New York. So I've been doing a lot of that, but I will say it's been pretty chaotic for me, but all good things. I think I'm really grateful for this whole year, and looking back on kind of where I started the year or where I was this time last year to now is really exciting. Other things that I've been up to since you last saw me was I did take a solo trip to London across the pond. And I found out that my type is in fact British men. They just really have something to it. I don't know if it's the accent or like the slightly jagged teeth that just like really does something for me, but I think I've talked about it a little bit in the past. But let's just say that I will be marrying British. That was not the point of the story. The point of the story was that I got an opportunity with a brand to fly to London. It was with Delta Airlines, which if you follow me, I am a loyal Delta enthusiast. I have been a medallion status member since I basically started flying for work back in 2018. I'm a super points freak. I love the status of it, and just having them reach out for this opportunity was incredible. I was super grateful for it. That being said, I didn't get a +1, so I did it solo, and I did have on my 29 project. So if you're just listening in for the first time, I created a bingo card at the beginning of my 29th year of all the things that I wanted to complete before I turned 30 this year on December 30th, which is only a few weeks away. And solo travel was one of them, and I hadn't gotten to it yet. So it was kind of the perfect storm of I had this opportunity from Delta come in while at the same time was on my second to last month of my bingo card completion. So I was able to check that off. And I think if you've ever worried, in the past, I've never really solo traveled. I've traveled places alone that then I met people there or knew people that were going to be there, but never truly solo traveled until I'd say college, study abroad. But even still, I never did something just completely on my own. And I think it's a lot more intimidating than you think. And I think if there's something that you've been wanting to do, but you've just been waiting on a friend or a partner or the right person to come along to take that trip with you, and it just hasn't happened yet, I would say don't be afraid to just go. One, it's a lot cheaper. You only have to pay for yourself if you're not buying a ticket for someone else. Upgrade yourself for first class. You don't need to buy your significant other a ticket. Spend it on yourself. You deserve it. And just go into it with an open mind. I think what I realized was when I go to a place, what I want to do isn't always the same as what other people want to do. And I am generally easygoing. But that being said, I got to be selfish. I got to do all of the things that I really wanted to do. I got to do the cheesy sightseeing stuff, like going up the London Eye and going to take a picture in front of Big Ben. Granted, I had to ask strangers to take pictures of me doing all these things. So it really pushes you out of your comfort zone. But it was a blast. I got to even end up meeting some friends there. So when I was on the plane over to London, there was a girl that had gone to my gym that I went to in Boston that had recognized me, and she was flying from Boston to London and was DM'd me afterwards, hey, this is really weird, but I think you're on my flight. I'm going to London. I'm in the process of moving from Boston to London. Like, if you need some recs, let me know. And I took her up on it, ended up going and grabbing drinks with her and some of her friends. And it was great. Like, I think just being open to opportunity and open to meeting new people and just putting yourself out there, and don't be afraid to kind of DM strangers or open a DM from strangers, as long as they're not asking you for feet or dirty underwear, which in my case is pretty frequent. But yeah, just put yourself out there. It's like, it's really fun going to restaurants alone. You get to eat at the place that you want to because it's so much easier to get a reservation. For one, you can literally just walk in and go to the bar if you want. And I think that you just get really comfortable with enjoying your own company. And I will admit, I am more of an independent person, but like, I still like to be with other people. Like, I would have rather been on the trip with someone else, sure. However, did I let that stop me from going and doing something that I wanted to do, and having to kind of learn a whole new city on my own? No, it didn't. So it was an awesome trip. Super grateful for that opportunity. I think the interesting thing about it too is when I went there, I immediately wanted to move there, which is, I think, such a classic trope. It's like, oh, me visiting a new city, I have to move here. And I definitely had that thought, not just because of the British men, as I mentioned, but I just thought that it was a really cool blend of a lot of the cities I was used to. So it felt like Boston with all of the architecture and history. And obviously Boston was a British colony and has a lot of British influence. Granted, a lot of other negative history behind that, but and I'm not, I guess, not negative. The Tea Party looked like a fun time, but yeah, so it felt like a blend of Boston. It was very clean, very walkable to an extent, like walkable within neighborhoods. And then it also felt like it had the scale of a New York City. Like, you could tell it was a major global city, and it was just like a really cool blend of that. So I really liked the city, but I also just, while there, realized, why do I need to move somewhere? I literally just moved to New York City, another big major metropolitan global city that people would kill to live in. So it really gave me an appreciation of the place that I just moved, and really it motivated me to want to now go out and be a tourist in my own city. And I know that sounds so eat, pray, love and cliche, but it really is true. Like, I felt like I wasn't really taking the time to put myself out there in New York. I was immediately, seeing friends and trying to meet people and do all those things, but I wasn't just like taking the time to maybe go walk to Times Square, which any New Yorker will tell you, don't go to Times Square, avoid it at all costs. But when you first move here, like, hell yeah, go to Times Square. It's amazing. It literally feels like I'm tripping when I'm there, because I'm not taking anything, I'm sober, but you go in there and just like all of the lights, you might as well be tripping. It's so cool. So I think just being like comfortable with doing things alone and enjoying your own presence in maybe a new place is a really cool skill and appreciation. And I took that back home with me here in New York. So when I first moved here, I was really not struggling to make friends, but struggling to like do it quickly. Like, I wanted my friend group secured, and I wanted my routine set, and I wanted just all of these things figured out. But like, I think that's the whole point of moving somewhere new is recreating that and enjoying the process of it. And I now am not afraid of just going and being again with myself and just enjoying the process. So yeah, I think that kind of like brings me into, I guess, like the first submission we have here, which is related to my move to New York. And it says, spill the tea on New York City dating. And I think like I hit on, I'd say, one, all you guys want to know is basically who I'm sleeping with, which is, fair enough. I guess you guys do want the tea. But unfortunately, not unfortunately, I'd say right now with New York, I'm really focused on just like not finding someone. Like, I don't really like want to move to a new city and just immediately start dating someone. I think, like I mentioned before, I was really focused on finding the routine, the gym, the coffee shop, my walking route with Kirkland. And I have that all now solidified. But I think like right now what I'm really doing is a lot more friendship dating. I think when you move to a new city, kind of creating your friend group takes time. And right now there's so many people that I knew from different walks of life or have been connected with on social media, but never actually have met, that I'm now just grabbing coffee, grabbing drinks, like doing a lot more friendship dating versus, your traditional hitting up the apps and just like going and trying to find my person. I think that when I was in Boston, I was a little bit more inclined to do that just because all of my kind of other friend groups were established and my different social circles were established there. So the kind of the thing I was missing was that like kind of other person. But I think just now it's just not as much of a priority. Like I really don't want to just jump into like dating someone and then put all of my almost needs on them. Like if I can't establish my own friend groups here before getting into a relationship with someone, then you become so reliant on that person to be kind of your total source of social interaction. Or even like if you start making friends based off of dating someone, like what happens when or if you guys break up, like your friends are really just their friends that you were added onto. So I think it's just like really important to establish yourself before you really start to make deeper connections in a dating sense. So I know that's not the sexy answer you wanted. I mean, that's not to say I haven't been having fun. Like I went to my first Brooklyn rave this past weekend, which was fun. I was out till 5 a.m. dancing with my shirt off, and I had never done anything like that. You don't really have that in Boston. All the bars close at like 1 a.m. You could take off your shirt at some, but yeah, like I think I'm a big fan of trying everything once. Obviously, I mean, I said that about Dick and here we are, but you never know what you'll like. I definitely don't know that was my immediate scene, but I liked it. Like I think it was fun to experience. I think it kind of was part of my kind of idea of like what being like a New York City gay would be, is like you have your one groups that just go out to the raves, and again, I don't think that's me, but again, I wanted to try it. So that was fun, and I've definitely been having fun overall, just definitely not prioritizing dating and haven't been doing it like very what you would call like intentionally to find like your person. So no tea there, but yeah, that's like really been everything I've been up to since we last talked. I know it was only about like a month ago, but yeah, it's been fun, like a lot going on and a lot to come. So with that, I did want to get into more of your submissions. So obviously it is the holiday season, and with that comes an extra scary, holly jolly set of scary stories. And I pulled some that are really hitting on the whole Christmas spirit. And we have some good ones in here. I think some good words of advice around surviving the holiday season, which is extremely important because I feel like this time of year, my head is spinning and it's really easy to lose yourself in all of the pine and Christmas lights, you could say. Anywho, so this first submission says, it is 2 weeks until Christmas break, yet it seems so far away. I can't do it. The first thing that jumps out at me that made me laugh about this submission is no matter how old I am, I will always refer to the like 2 weeks in between Christmas and the New Year as Christmas break. I'm 29 years old. I haven't been in college in over 7 years, or even not even just college. Like I haven't been in a school system where I had formal breaks for 7 years and I still call it Christmas break. It's just, it's something that unfortunately will stay that way until quite literally I die. So thought that was funny. And kind of like what I hit on before, like we're really just in this home stretch between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and it's a chaotic time of year. It's an expensive time of year, and it's a fucking like caloric time of year. I feel like I am just eating so much. I don't know if it's just approaching hibernation and it's my like instincts coming out and just being like, you got to eat, but I am consuming everything. And I think also, you have the holiday parties, you have the holiday dinners, you have the visiting your hometown and seeing people you haven't seen in a while, and you're going out, you're getting drinks and all of that. So I just feel like between all of that, you are working a ton to get everything out the door and finalized for the end of the year. You're also going out a lot, meeting friends, whatever, you're eating a lot, and it's just kind of this chaotic mess. So I feel you. I think what I would say is just like prioritize the big stuff and enjoy kind of the time of year. Like we really only get this once per year, and then winter actually enters what I call like deep winter, which is just miserable. Like at least we have the cold weather right now, plus fun lights and Christmas markets and music and fun and happy time of year. Then it just becomes January and it's bleak. So enjoy it. I'd also say, like, in terms of getting everything you need done with work, like just prioritize the big things, save the rest for the new year. Not everything is going to get done. You're just basically jamming as much in as you can right now, and then you're just going to be able to unplug. So I know it feels like these 2 weeks are madness, and they are, but you will get through them. And honestly, like what I find is when I'm extremely busy, like time flies. So it'll be break before you know it. This next one says having to Christmas shop while hungover. For me, like having a hangover, there's nothing that cures it better than shopping. So like a little retail therapy might actually, be better than hair of the dog. But I would say if you really are having a tough time, first off, you still got time. You still got a few more weeks. Second off, like this is the beauty of the internet. You don't have to get up off your couch to do your Christmas shopping. In fact, that's really how I'm doing most of my Christmas shopping. I think living here and gonna be spending Christmas in another city, like I'm just ordering things off Amazon and shipping it home so I don't have to lug it home from here. So yeah, use the internet. And like I said, Black Friday, it's like 2 months long now. Take advantage of all the deals. Yeah, I think that it is the 21st, I think, century, 22nd, I think it's the 21st century. We have the internet. You can shop online. You don't need to do anything in person. Or just get everyone gift cards this year. Okay, this one says, I got a promotion and now I'm my work crush's boss. Okay. I would say, first off, like with great power comes great responsibility. I've never personally been in this situation, but I mean, it's pretty like, I don't know if that's ideal. I don't think I'd want to be my work crush's boss. I think I'd want to be my work crush's like equal level so that we could complain about our boss and almost trauma bond together over it, like see each other as equals, unless you're into like a dom sub thing and they are too, in which case this is kind of the perfect situation. Though I say that very jokingly because this can be a sticky situation very quickly. This isn't the first time I've talked about hooking up with coworkers, and it clearly won't be the last because you guys just keep doing it. But with great power comes great responsibility. And I think especially around the holiday season and you got work party season, like this is like it should be taught in school, this art form of balancing the coworker crushes during the work holiday party season. But what I will tell you is that no one gets promoted at the work holiday party. You don't want to be the drunkest person there. Try and pace yourself. I know it feels like, hey, I give this company my all. I am overworked and underpaid, and we got an open bar this year at the holiday party. I am going to drink my salary's worth of tequila tonight. Let me just tell you, it's a trap. Don't do it. You will get in trouble, or at least make a fool of yourself in some capacity. I think what you can do is make you a fool of yourself after the holiday party, at the work holiday party after party. That one's a lot lower stakes. Like once all the executives go home and all the bosses realize that, they're starting to see things that might end up with some HR paperwork and they get themselves out of there. That's when you can have some fun. But I would just say like pace yourself. I would say if you're gonna pursue a work crush at the holiday party, just do it like this. Like talk to them, have fun, get them a drink. Don't go in for the kill while, the, head of marketing is DJing. Just create a follow-up. Like you got to say, hey, I know this really cool bar after the like holiday party that we can go to. It's super close by. I have a few friends. We're going to go in and have a few drinks after. Would you want to join? And I think that's what you do. You got to take it out of the work sanctioned event and bring it somewhere else. And again, I'm not condoning this behavior, but if you're going to do it, I want you to do it right and do it in a way that minimizes your potential, career limitations. So yeah, we don't want any career limiting moves this holiday season. But yeah, I think that's the first kind of hurdle. Then the next hurdle is what you do on Monday. And what I will say is either you pretend like it never happened or you're in it for the long run and you marry this person. There's really no in between, because if you kind of begin this just on and off work relationships, I've been there. It gets sticky real quick in a fun, sexy way, in like a, wow, now I am getting scathing emails from this person who also happens to be my ex, and now I have to give a presentation to them. Or maybe they become your boss and, really unleash their wrath on you. So just tread lightly, tread carefully, but definitely have a few rounds on the corporate card. You deserved it. This next one says, my family has different political views than me, and I'm dreading going home for the holidays. I think that this is a trope that we find far too often. You have finally left your small hometown and moved to maybe a more progressive city, and you're almost living among people that have a lot more similar, political opinions than you, and then you go home and you're kind of like back into the thick of it, outnumbered by, maybe it's your parents, maybe it's your grandparents, your uncles, siblings, and all of a sudden, the political debate comes up. It's like, God forbid the food at the table was enough to just talk about, or, maybe there's some other things you can chat on, but it always seems to be the political debate. And I think that one thing I've learned in this, I've definitely experienced this. I definitely identify as having different political views than my immediate family. However, I also think that you can choose not to engage. Like, I don't think that you have to get into the debate. Like, I think it's a lot harder to bite your tongue, especially when someone's trying to provoke you. But I really just think it's easy to change the subject. I think go in with like a few topics you want to discuss. Like, I don't know, did someone at the table lose their job? Like, throw them under the bus or something. Like, just go in with some topics prepared that you can easily pivot to. But, I feel this. I think the other option is you also don't necessarily have to participate in everything. Like, I think you can go to what you feel comfortable with, like go home for, maybe you don't go home for weeks at a time. You go home just for the holidays. You kind of go in and out as much as you can handle. I think there's this whole idea of like a chosen family too, that you don't necessarily even have to go back to your family if it's really enough of a toxic environment. I think for me, I, at the end of the day, pick my family over, say, like a political opinion that like we can agree to disagree. But at the end of the day, I enjoy the presence of my family. Like, I want to be around them, and I'm willing to put away my beliefs as long as they can match that energy and respect that, so that we can just enjoy each other's presence. But I understand that that's not always the case. So if you really are in a situation where you don't feel safe or welcomed, then I would see if there's some other friends or family, or again, that chosen family that you can spend time with over the holidays instead of your actual, family. And I think that last year, like, I think I'm like speaking from experience on this. Like, last year, the only thing that's harder than coming home single for the holidays was like coming home gay. Like, I had to do that last year. I wasn't out publicly, but I at this point had, actually, that's not true. I think this year was it. I don't think I even was out last year. I think some of my family knew, but not everyone. And I think the first time that I went to this, holiday event, having come out, I don't know if it was like a birthday party earlier this year, but I guess Thanksgiving would be it. Like, it's you're kind of scared of it coming up and being the subject of the conversation. I feel like when something happens in the family, like, I don't know, the cousin dyes her hair blue, or someone quits their job and moves to Thailand, it becomes kind of the talk of the table. And I think that, this year it definitely felt like that was me. But I think what I realized was that fear was a lot worse than the actual experience. That, when I came out, even though my family does have different political opinions, they still accepted me for me. And I was very lucky to have that. And I think that it just wasn't as scary as I made it up in my head to be. And I think it honestly gave more of a look into my life and my perspective, and maybe why I live the life that I do, and why I choose to live in the places I live and vote for the people that I vote, because they could kind of see how my experience has shaped that, in the same way I can respect how their experiences have shaped theirs, and that we don't have the same experiences, so we might not ever agree. Like, it's not my job to convince them of anything, and it's not their job to convince me of anything, but you get to pick whether or not that's enough of a deal breaker, and that your indifferences are strong enough to keep you from being together. For me personally, it's not something that I have chosen to do. So I definitely think it's difficult, but I think you can get through it. And I hate to say, like, just try not to address it. I think you can talk about it, but I think just try and protect your peace a little bit is my best advice. And how deep do you really want to get into it if you know that at the end of the day you can't change their opinions, they're not going to change yours? So when you're fighting just for the sake of fighting, is that really productive, or is it just detrimental? So I'm shocked not one person submitted going home single for the holidays this year. Did we all like get wifed out this year, and we all have someone? Or that's a top one. This says, I've been dabbling with so many hot guys. I'm not hooking up with them, but I'm trying to find someone. Am I a hoe? No, I think it just sounds like you're dating. In fact, I think you should be fucking them. Like, be a little bit more of a hoe. Just use protection, especially, this time of year. We're entering into prime cuffing season. He got some time left, but I would say it's going to get cold quick. It's going to get dark even earlier than it already is. Get out there and lock someone down. Or multiple people. I mean, there's a reason why sports teams have rosters. It works. This next one says, I'm afraid that Netflix's Boots may become my new personality. And I think, no disrespect to Boots. I loved it. I got to go to the premiere here in New York City, and I met some of the cast. They're all smoking hot, super nice. But we're on to Heated Rivalry now. If you're still watching Boots, like, that's last month's show. I mean, I love this surge in like mainstream gay representation on TV, but I'll tell you, I don't know if it's really just good representation for the gay community, or if it's just fucking hot. Like, it's crazy. I mean, first we walked with Boots so that Heated Rivalry could run. I mean, this stuff is just full on softcore porn, which, I'm not complaining about. I'm sure it is a good show, but they are just showing enough of that hockey ass that it's certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, at least for me. But yeah, I mean, this last episode, so right now there are 3 episodes of Heated Rivalry out, and my first take on the show overall is that it's giving me an unrealistic expectation of how many gay men there are, because I already think everyone's gay, and now you're showing me a show that has all of these super hyper masculine hockey guys that are just secretly fucking. Like, you're just confirming my belief, and now I'm just gonna go out there and even more so assume that everyone's gay, especially the hockey players. I think one of the things that I'm realizing with this show that I do like is, even if the script and the acting is not incredible, like, I won't lie to you, I really don't know what the plot of the show is so far. They're just like jumping around all over the place. There's years going by. Like, they're telling the story of these 2 top rookie hockey players that slowly become, the best on their teams and are pitted against each other as rivals, when in reality they're sleeping with each other every chance they can, at all-star games, at Olympics, at, whenever they have games with each other, etc. And I don't know that the plot is that good. I mean, I'll tell you, there's some parts of the plot are good basically when they're in bed, but like it's just, I think if you're a queer man, you can find a lot of it just extremely relatable, especially kind of the early days of curiosity and discovery, and maybe when you first start to maybe explore that fear of exposure, but at the same time, this just pure pleasure, like in finally feeling like, wow, this is something that I maybe have wanted to do for a while and fantasized about, and it's a reality. And I think they're really showing that well. And I think, from secret meetups in hotel rooms to pretending like they don't know each other in person at public events, like it's just something that I think it's easy to find yourself having experienced. I think, definitely looking back, like that process is a long one. Like I think it's cool that they show how much time is passing as this relationship is progressing, because sometimes it does take years. Like it's not just like all of a sudden you do it and you click and you're ready. Like there's so many layers in processing to coming out that like exploration is just one. Like then there's this whole process of shame that you have to deal with, and what is the perception of it going to be to other people? Like you just kind of start to play out all these scenarios in your head, and I think the whole process just takes so long, which again it should. Like some people it's quick, but I think there's no like right or wrong way to it. But like I think there's just something relatable in it, especially now for me having been out, and I think almost as far, I guess, as you could be in the process in terms of the coming out process. Like it really is reassuring to just see my experience represented on mass media in a way that is more or less accurate, but also just like extremely steamy. But yeah, I think the most recent episode particularly hit home, where it was about one of the players. His name is, I don't even remember. Scott Hunter is his name. And he's one of the big players on the like New York City hockey team. I don't know what they call it. I swear, even if they didn't make up the team names in this show, I wouldn't know what they are. It's like I don't know what the real ones are, so I don't even know what the fake ones are either. But just the New York team, he turns out to be closeted, and he meets a guy at a smoothie shop who is super sexy, short king, 5'7". I looked it up, and he starts this like secret relationship with him, and they quickly fall in love, and they're meeting up with each other often. Basically, the boy like moves in with him, and they kind of get seen in public, but they have to act like they don't know each other. And it's just this like this weird dynamic where in secret or behind closed doors, like this person knows you so well and you know everything about them, but then to go into a public place and be strangers in this room, like it's just this very unique experience that I don't think many people kind of have gone through. And I think this whole idea of a secret relationship is also something that a lot of queer men specifically have experienced, and I have been both kind of sides of it. So the guy from the smoothie shop is out and basically like wants him to just come to his birthday party. It's a small thing of 3 of his friends getting dinner at like a local bar, and like he is not, like the other guy, Scott, like is just not comfortable with it. Like he's extremely scared of just going in public with him, nonetheless, like to like something like a birthday party with his friends. And it is sad to see, because like I've been that, like it's just that irrational fear of being exposed just simply for being in public one-on-one, like with a guy. Like if that was one of my guy friends, we wouldn't think twice of it, but it's just because that it isn't, that you get so in your head about it. And I think it's hard. And he used a phrase of like, I have too many people looking up to me to like disappoint them. And I think that there's this fear of when you are in the closet that being gay or queer or bisexual, whatever it is a disappointment to people. And I think that that's really sad, and it's shame speaking. And in some cases, like, I won't lie to you, it is. Like, if you come from a more conservative background, or I'm sure if you asked parents like what their preference for their kid would be, they wouldn't jump to queer or gay or anything in the LGBTQ plus community. But I think it's not always about like the shame of it, but just understanding the potential difficulties that now they will have to face. So like, I think that the reality is there are religions that still discriminate against LGBTQ plus community members, that there are just cultural discrimination against it. Like, it's just still not fully widely accepted. I mean, obviously when you're in New York City, it seems like everyone's more gay than straight here, and there are communities and spaces that are accepting, but the reality is that's not 100% the case. I mean, even this year alone, there was even speculation, or not speculation, like the like marriage act of legalizing gay marriage in the country was asked to be revisited by the Supreme Court in 2025 after 10 years of gay marriage being legal. I mean, immediately it got shut down, but still, like, that shit is still happening. So I think just this idea of disappointing people is very real and relatable, and that fear will keep you just unhappy, like you should put a secret. Like, I think it's you're so scared of other people being hurt and upset that you internalize it all for them. And I think that that's a really sad thing to have to take on, and it's an experience that a lot, I think, of queer men have to do. It's what I had to do, especially as someone who, not, I wouldn't say I'm like a public figure, but yes, I do have a public element. Like, what I do with social media is a public thing. And for most of my social media career, like, I was presumably straight, and I was worried that I would disappoint people by coming out, and that I wasn't exactly who they thought I was. But the reality was that became like my superpower. Like, that became the representation that I could be, and that, yes, I am a content creator, but I'm also like a bisexual man and representation for the queer community. Like, and it's not like I made that my whole thing. I mean, maybe I have. I definitely have gotten more into the jokes, and I'm more open about it. But like, I'm still just a guy with a wiener dog that lives in a city that is kind of just navigating life in my late 20s, in my 30s. And I think that just becomes a relatable experience for everyone. And I think when you're someone like a hockey player, where clearly there are gay hockey players out there that are doing things under wraps, unless that's just for TV, which maybe it's a little, embellished, but like, how powerful that could be for someone like Scott Hunter to come out publicly and be a hockey player. I mean, just overall in sports, you really just don't see a ton of openly like gay or queer men. And I think it's because of this fear of disappointment, when in reality, they could really do a lot of good. And I think that was something it's tough to see this character still in that place. And I hope as the show progresses, he could get to a point where he's more comfortable. But ultimately, like, the couple breaks up because the other guy who's out and open is just tired of being a secret. And I've also felt that. Like, I've been in a relationship where I was with someone who was not further in the process, still closeted. And although it's like a hot fantasy to get with a straight guy, like a straight closeted guy, right? Like, there are some realities to it that are just not fun, and that, yeah, you can't just go and simply get a coffee or do something in public, or for your birthday, like, understand that they're likely not going to be there because they don't want to be outed to like even your friends or family, or have to ask questions. Like, it becomes just like web of lies meant to hide things. And it's just really sad to feel put in the shadows, and no matter how much like they could genuinely care for you and even love you, and you love them, they just don't have the ability to do it yet, because they're just not there yet. They have so many steps in the process left to go, and while you could be a big step in the process, you could help move them along, you might not be the thing that actually gets them out. And I think that a lot of times you can think like, oh, well, this will work like in the short term, once we fall in love, then I'll be able to make them come out. Like, you can never make someone come out. Like, there's no one that could have made me come out until I was ready to do it. Sure, could I have gotten hurt enough and had failed relationships happen enough that then make me really want to do the work to come out? Sure, but it wasn't like, oh, I am coming out because this one person threatened to leave me. Like it's not going to happen. Like that might not be what you want to hear. I think like one thing is like you don't have to stay in that relationship. Like I think that in the gay world, there's this scarcity mindset in that, oh, I found this person, I really care for them, but they're closeted and like they won't come out for me, so I have to stay with them until like they're ready, and that could be years. Like no, like you can get up and walk away. Like if you've done the work already, you don't have to stay with someone that hasn't. Like I think that there are plenty of people out there, trust me, like maybe not in your small town city, like go to a big city, like there are honestly too many options, I'd say. So just you gotta have the self-respect to know when to get up and walk away, and that's what happens in the show. And I think that just seeing this relationship in this episode was super cute, but also very sad because the realities of kind of the world and the dynamics really took over the potential of what the love could be. And yeah, I think that was just a really real representation of a queer man experience. And it's cool to see that now like on TV, more mainstream. Plus they're both super hot. You see them shirts off, making out, banging. So I'm like, let me put some perspective back into things. Like, yes, representation is important, but if you just like the simple pleasures in life, I think you'll like the show too.
Yeah, my co-host is not. Kurgan's like, I am not paid enough for this. You know what? He's right. He's expensive. So yeah, if he had a talking role, I'd have to pay him. So that's why he doesn't have a mic today. So
we are blessed with his divine figure that is that of a Subway footlong. But yeah, Kirkland went to his first movie premiere last night. He got invited to one. I did not. But he was nice enough to let me come with him as his plus one. So I'm still waiting to get invited to a movie premiere, but it was for an Amazon Prime movie. So pretty legit. We got him a tuxedo. He dressed up and he was, I hate to say it if any of those other dogs are watching, but the best dressed dog at the show. I mean, he was fully black tie. There was a lot of other wiener dogs there. It wasn't a wiener dog movie. I think it was like a Jack Russell Terrier. I don't know what it was, like one of those scruffy dogs. It was called Merv. It was with Zooey Deschanel and Charlie Cox. It's about a couple that breaks up and they share custody of their dog, and the dog is now undergoing dog depression, which, you know, it's like, you know, it's bad when your dog is depressed too. It's like the depression's really taking over, not just humans, but the dog. So basically the couple has to, you know, take this dog on a trip to hopefully make it happy again. And I won't spoil the ending, but because I didn't stay long enough because Kirkland started getting restless and we had to leave the movie premiere a little early because he was hungry and I think also had to take a shit. So we did leave a little early. So I got to watch the rest of the movie at home, but I think it launches on December 10th, which I think is probably after this will air. So watch it if you haven't. Merv, Zooey Deschanel, Charlie Cox, Kirkland's first movie premiere. So someday he'll be in the movie. It'll be called Hot Wieners, and it will be not what you expect it to be, but we will use that
misleading title to bring in an audience, and it will just be Kirkland living his life as a hot wiener.
Right, bud? He's like, please stop touching me. Yeah, he's a little diva. Okay, so this we'll finish things off with one fun scary. So this one's probably a more of my scary because it's about me. It's actually not someone else's story. It just says, you've gotten so annoying since coming out, which thank you for the for the submission, I'm really glad that I have curated a space where you all feel really comfortable enough to look me in the eye and call me annoying. That's totally fine. Like, I'm not here to make you all necessarily love me, and I am open to feedback. So this is good feedback. I think one of the things that I have learned while being a content creator is, while yes, you can get a lot of positive comments and you can, get all these followers and get all these likes on your videos, like, there is some negative that comes with the positive. Like, people are going to tell you how they think about you, and you're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. And I think that's okay. I think I'm not here to make everyone in the world on the internet like me. I'm here to be myself. And I think that since coming out, I have done that more than ever. And I think when you, again, do what I do, you open yourself up to different perceptions where people get to know you based on small slivers of who you are. And that could be off of a quick little video where maybe you make a certain joke that rubs someone the wrong way, or they just simply don't want to see someone else kind of succeeding. Like, if you're doing a lifestyle video and they think that that comes off as, you flaunting your lifestyle or bragging, like, I think that's a fair perception. And I think part of my value too as a influencer or creator is for people to not like me. Like, if you didn't have anyone to hate on, like, that's why trash reality TV exists. If you didn't have someone to send to your friends and be like, oh my God, this person's so annoying, like, just things wouldn't be as fun. So, like, I'm okay with that. Like, you can talk about me. I think if it's cathartic for you, that's totally cool with me. I think, again, it's not my job to make you like me. I think that, again, like, it doesn't really faze me as much anymore. I've been doing this for almost 3 years. And I think one of the things with coming out is you have to really throw away fear of what other people's opinion on you is going to be. Like, I've talked about this a million times. Like, not caring what people think is your superpower, and it's so much easier said than done. And sometimes it's just like not caring. Like, you're going to care. Like, obviously I care that someone called me annoying since coming out, but I don't let that now impact me. Like, I don't let that like change my behavior. I'm not going to now go back in the closet. I'm not going to now stop putting my life on the internet and being my authentic self and saying things that I want to say. Like, I don't think I'm hurting anyone. My goal is not to hurt someone or make fun of anyone or make jokes. I'll make fun of myself happily. But I think, like, what's hard is that this came from someone within the gay community. So this is, again, I'm not going to out you, even though, you called me annoying. I could, but no, I would never do that. Like I said, anonymous. But like, I think the gay community, before you come out, it like positions itself as so welcoming and inclusive, yet you have some individuals that like really ruin it for everyone when they say very toxic things. Like, people have questioned my identity, my sexuality. I've been accused by the community of queer baiting. I've been accused of the community of like being too gay, and that like my identity doesn't match with what I am, and just like all this speculation. And what I'm here to say is, I'm not here to convince you of anything. I'm not here to convince you that I am a certain identity, a certain way, that I'm a top, that I'm a bottom, that I'm whatever. Like, have your opinion on me. That's totally fine. It's my job to be who I am. And if that makes you feel uncomfortable or someone feel uncomfortable, then it's not really my problem, unfortunately. And I think if you're in a similar position where you are scared of coming out due to perception of you, or again, disappointing people, that it is not your problem to deal with the people that have problems with you. It's exactly that. It's their problem. It's your job to be unapologetically yourself, as long as, again, you're not hurting someone in the process. You're not being destructive. So yeah, so I think that just like
Being in the closet for me was the epitome of being a people pleaser my whole life, and trying not to upset people, and taking it to heart when someone called me annoying, and
trying to change my behaviors and the things that I did and my mindsets based on one person's opinion when they were likely just projecting onto me an insecurity that they have. I also do think we live in a day and age where we overprescribe people with like insecurity. Like I think I was watching I Love LA, and it was just funny. Like when people don't like someone, they're just like, oh, it's just because they're insecure. Like we do live in this society where it's like, oh, this person has something I want, and I don't like them, but like they're probably just insecure. Like we're all fucking insecure. Everyone has insecurities. It's what makes us human. So I think it's just like this funny trope that you see a lot of people, but like I think truly when someone is trying to bring you down by saying something negative, that is an insecurity speaking, and that is what they're trying to do, is bring you to a level where they don't feel so below you. But again, like you don't see people at the top like tearing down people below them, right? Like it's always that way. And again, not to say that anyone's better than anyone else. Like we're all at the end of the day gonna fucking die. Like we're all born, we're all dead, we all shit, we all eat, like we all are space dust in a way. So no one is above and beyond. But if you're someone that is tearing someone down, like you just maybe need to do a little bit of introspection and do the work that maybe someone else has already done. So yeah, I'd say that I'm here. I'm in New York City. I am now a full-time content creator, an entrepreneur, doing things that I've only ever dreamed of. I am meeting people that I want to meet, that I moved to New York City to like finally like get exposure to other creators that do what I do. I'm building a business. I'm building a podcast. I am having fun. I'm exploring being a gay man in a major city. I'm happy. I'm grateful. Like I'm grateful for all of you that support what I do, that watch, that follow along. I hope that what I do doesn't come off as, annoying or like rude or in any way bragging. But what I'm trying to show you is that my lifestyle is something that I built recently, and it was a process of working hard consistently, doing a lot of introspection, learning to love myself, and just like really putting myself out there. And that's something that you can do too. Like just because I have something doesn't mean you can't have something. Like you can have a New York City apartment, and like you can afford to do that if you work hard and you put in the time. Like I didn't just get this apartment overnight. I've been doing this for 3 years. At one point, like alongside a full-time job, like I was working all the time, and then I had to publicly come out. Like there's all these things I had to do to get here. I didn't just like fall into this apartment. So, and again, it's not about me. Like I'm just saying these things because whatever challenges you are facing, like the light is on the other side of it. The best way to get like out of something is to go through it. And I think you're going to be just so happy with what's on the other side, because I truly feel fulfilled in so much of my life, whether it's, career, like financially, relationships, everything just kind of came together once I stopped resisting who I was and put in the work to build a life that I wanted and be the person that I was while doing that. So you're going to get negative comments. You're going to get negative opinions when you be who you are, because it's something that so many people wish that they could do, but they can't. So as you lean into that, whether you're in that process or starting that process or still kind of dealing with some of the echoes of having gone through that process, like I still to this day, when someone says, like calls me gay, I'm like, oh, and I'm like, wait, no, I am. Like, or like it is like a reaction that you still have to unlearn, and it doesn't happen overnight. So I think, wherever you are in the process, I'm proud of you. You're going to have great things ahead. And I'm so excited for where it takes you, because I know the potential of where it's taken me, and who knows where it can continue to take me and you. So also, I'm going to end this in an annoying way because I am so annoying. Like whoever said that's just probably not that hot. With that, I mean, I've gone through most of your submissions. I did want to give a few quick updates before we wrap. So one is I've talked about on this podcast a lot, the 29 project. Starting this podcast was part of my 29 project, but I basically have my bingo card of all the things I want to do before I turn 30 this year on December 30th, my golden birthday, which is again in just about 3 weeks. And while I've done a lot of the big ones, I'm still not completely done with it. So we've talked a lot about like the chaos of this year and trying to get everything in between work and holiday shopping and all the above. Like I have now like the added thing of turning 30 at the end of the year. So like it's like my birthday is basically one of the holidays. So I have my 29 project left. I've come to terms with some of the things I had on it. I had as extra credit that probably won't be happening. Like I probably won't get to see Chris Angel Mind Freak float in Vegas. I really wanted to go and see that, but maybe next year. And I think while I will try and knock out the last few on kind of like my main square, I think the thing that I've learned already in this process is just like life doesn't end at 30 and life doesn't end at 31. It doesn't end at 32. It doesn't end at 40, 50, 60, 70, assuming you're healthy. I mean, I don't know. You don't get hit by a bus. Like life doesn't end just because you hit a certain number. And I think for so much of my life, like the 20s are fun and flirty and they're so glorified, and then it's like life ends at 30, like your peak's over. But I felt like in my 20s I was just figuring out so much of who I am, and now at the end of my 20s, like I've never felt more myself and like stepping into a life that truly is the best days of my life ahead. And I think like with every phase of life, I want to bring that mentality in. And I think having something like the 29 project was something that really helped me do that, because I had to get all of these things done before I turned 30, right? Like I had to get a tattoo. I got a, solo travel. I got bungee jump off a cliff. That wasn't on there because I'm really scared of heights and I don't want to do that. But just like living more intentionally allowed me to realize that like one, like we should push ourselves to do things that we do kind of procrastinate sometimes. However, when you don't do it, you still have time. Like when I turn 30, I'm still going to be able to go bungee jumping if I decide that I can get over that fear of heights. Like, so I think, the beauty in it is like just life does not end at a certain age. And even if you don't check off everything on your bucket list, like living more intentionally to do those things and set goals for yourself, any progress is positive progress. So again, that being said, I'm competitive and I want to finish the square, but if I don't, I'm trying to give myself some grace that, I have all of next year, and I will be doing a project 30. Don't worry about it. I have already planned that. I think for the foreseeable future, like I'd love to just continue to reframe New Year's resolutions as this kind of fun game in lists that I can check off that are a lot more doable and tangible than something broad like eat healthier. Like I think, well, how do you actually get to eating healthy if you don't have a tangible action? So yeah. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was a season 2 update. Again, I've mentioned we are in between seasons. We've had these special episodes around holidays that, I might continue to do until we start back up again, but we are cranking away with planning. Merch is in production. We are booking guests and we are finalizing release dates. It's super exciting. I'm excited. We have so many awesome people slated to join me. And also some just like adjustments to the format of the show. I think we really love having everyone's submissions and the fun anonymous stories that we hear from all of you. So those aren't going away. But I kind of think of this podcast now as a bit like my close friend story. And I think giving you guys a little bit more of the behind the scenes of what's going on in my life is only fair when you guys are divulging so much of your life to me. So with that, we will close things out with a scary of the week. I think that this week's scary of the week has to go to being promoted to the work crushes boss. It might not be that scary now, but I can just tell that this one is going to get scary, especially, like I said, when the liquor starts flowing and the holiday party starts. I want you to touch back with us and give us an update, because I know you guys are going to hook up and it's going to get messy, but that's what we're here for. We live in the messy. We learn from the messy. We're all in it together. But yeah, okay. I'd say we'll give that to Scary of the Week. If you have a scary that you'd like to submit to the show, feel free to send that over to the scariespod@gmail.com or each Sunday on my personal Instagram story. There's also a link in the bio on how you can submit your scaries directly through that platform. If you enjoyed this podcast, make sure to share it with someone who needs it. In the meantime, make sure to follow at the Scaries Pod across platforms, or follow myself at the Maddie Rossi across platforms. Thanks for joining us. Happy holidays and a happy new year. We'll see you next time. Go make some more scaries. You have anything to say? He says Happy Hanukkah.